What's up, future Spain immigrants and expats? I'm back with a brand new video, and today we're breaking down real rent prices and property prices in Barcelona, Spain. So if you're thinking about moving to Barcelona, buying here, renting here, or just curious what your money actually gets you, this is a video you need to watch. Let's get into it. The first property we're looking at is for sale, and it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment listed at 280,000 euros for 70 square meters in Born. Born is one of Barcelona's most historic and lively neighborhoods with narrow medieval streets, boutique shops, restaurants, and your walking distance to the beach and the beautiful Gothic quarter. Quick language note, when you're buying property in Spain, you'll hear the word piso a lot. Piso basically means apartment or flat in English. In Spanish cities like Barcelona or Madrid, most people live in apartments, not detached houses like in American suburbs. All right, now back to the numbers. If we take 280,000 euros and divide it by 70 square meters, that comes out to about 4,000 euros per square meter. And that's really the metric you want to focus on when comparing listings in Barcelona, Spain. Now, 3 bedrooms and 70 square meters probably means the rooms are going to be pretty small by American standards, but in Barcelona, it's common to sacrifice space for location. As you can see, the apartment has very limited closet space outside of the walk-in closet in 1 bedroom. Closet space is something that tends to be a big issue with many apartments in Spain, so definitely something to keep in mind when you're buying here. Now we're making our way to our next stop, an apartment for rent in Gràcia for 1,500 euros per month. It's 45 square meters and comes with a balcony. Let's talk a bit about Gràcia. This neighborhood has a really unique vibe compared to the more tourist-heavy areas like Born or the Gothic quarter. It still feels very local with narrow streets, small plazas, and lots of cool independent cafes and fun boutiques. People love Gràcia for its community feel, outdoor terraces, and the fact that it's very walkable. Even though it's central, it doesn't feel as crowded or commercialized as other neighborhoods in Barcelona. Now, going back to the price, so if you break down price per square meter, it's 1,500 euros for monthly rent divided by 45 meters square. That would equal out to 33 euros per meter square per month. Barcelona rent isn't cheap by any means, and something to also know if you're renting in Barcelona is you'll need a lot of patience and research on rental websites because it's very competitive to rent a place. There's a huge housing crisis in Spain, and Barcelona is very high in demand. And remember, if you need help finding a place in Barcelona or anywhere else in Spain, be sure to book your free consultation and let's get you over here. If you're new to the channel, hola, I'm Britt, an American who's been living in Spain for over 6 years. I've been blessed enough to get permanent residency in Spain. I truly know the ins and outs of finding apartments here, understanding neighborhoods, and navigating life. So if you want to make your move to Spain a lot smoother, be sure to get in touch. Now, back to this apartment. Gràcia isn't the absolute most expensive neighborhood in Barcelona, but it is pricier than a lot others because of its unique vibe. You're paying not just for location, but for community feel, local culture, and that village within the city energy that a lot of renters and buyers in Barcelona actually want. So yes, compared to more residential or less central areas, Gràcia tends to be more expensive, but compared to ultra premium central districts, it can also feel like a smarter value. This apartment was beautiful, but I wasn't a fan of the lack of closet space. I have a lot of clothes and this wouldn't fit all of them by any means. The next thing that I want to mention is you also want to factor in utilities. So overall, you're looking at roughly 100 to 200 euros per month on top of rent, depending on how much energy you use. Utilities are things like electricity, water, gas, and internet. Now, if you're renting in Spain as an American for the first time, here's some really important information you need to know. The first thing you need to know about renting in Spain is all about community fees. This is also known as gasto de comunidad in Spanish. Some landlords include this in the rent and some don't. It covers things like building maintenance, cleaning of common areas, and elevators. This can be 30 euros to 150 euros extra per month, so make sure you clarify that before signing any contracts. The next thing you want to know about renting in Spain as a foreigner is all about deposits. Next, let's talk about location versus size. Neighborhoods here in Barcelona matter a lot, so you might pay more for a smaller place in Gràcia, Born, or Exemple than you would for a larger apartment farther out. And the reason for this is you're paying for lifestyle, walkability, and the authentic Barcelona experience. These are also much safer neighborhoods compared to El Raval and La Rambla. And before I continue with renting in Spain as a foreigner tips, we have made it to the last place we are viewing in Barcelona, Spain. This was a bedroom and private bathroom to rent in an apartment. It was giving me jail vibes because the bedroom and the bathroom actually had no windows at all. And I'm pretty sure that's illegal as main living spaces must have windows or natural ventilation under Spanish building rules. So if you're ever seeing a bedroom with no window at all in Barcelona or anywhere in Spain, that's definitely something to question. Something that's also good to know is interior facing is normal. That's when the window faces a courtyard or a patio, but totally windowless is not normal at all. No windows in a bedroom is also a potential fire hazard. So it's important to know that in cities like Barcelona, building codes require proper evacuation routes, ventilation, and minimum living standards. That's one reason legal bedrooms are typically required to have a window to the exterior or access to a ventilated patio or courtyard. A fully enclosed windowless bedroom may not even meet those standards. On the other hand, bathrooms technically don't need a window as long as they have proper mechanical ventilation. This apartment location was ideal because it was on Paseo de Gracia in the Gracia neighborhood, but it was a bajo apartment, which means a ground floor apartment, and that's totally legal in Spain, but ground floor apartments are more prone to humidity, and honestly, this one had a musty, moldy smell right when I walked in, which makes me question the ventilation a lot. Even if something is technically legal, you still want to think about health and comfort. Especially in cities like Barcelona, Spain, where the rental market is competitive, some landlords and realtors assume tenants are either desperate or just don't understand how things work here. This is why knowledge is power, and the more you understand the system, the less likely you are to get taken advantage of. The last few tips I want to leave you with, especially if you're renting as a foreigner, are about guarantors. If your pay slips aren't sufficient or you don't have a Spanish work contract, you might be asked for a guarantor. A guarantor in Spain is someone who legally agrees to cover your rent if you don't pay. Of course, the only problem is that most Americans don't have a Spanish guarantor, so landlords may instead ask for an alternative like a bank guarantee or several months of rent up front. This isn't personal, it's about risk. Spain actually has very strong tenant protections and eviction processes take time. So landlords try to protect themselves at the beginning of the contract. The key is to ask about guarantor requirements early before you fall in love with a place because it can save you a lot of time and frustration. So the truth about renting in Barcelona, Spain is competitive, it's not cheap, and if you don't understand the system, it can totally feel overwhelming. But if you come prepared knowing about deposits, guarantors, utilities, and what's normal on rental leases, it's completely doable. Barcelona is an incredible place to live. Just make sure you move smart, not desperate, and don't let anyone pressure you into signing something you don't fully understand.